Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains May 2nd through the 12th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of True Crime Time for Monday, May the 12th, 2025, and I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
Ooh, graduation week for a lot of people, huh?
Yeah.
Including our second oldest, graduating from Southeastern Louisiana University, where our live show is going to be on July the 19th, graduating with her master's.
So proud of her.
Yeah, right? And y'all, unfortunately, throughout my police career, this week and prom week seem to be the most tragic because people get, these young people with their whole lives ahead of them are going to do partying. I mean, that's, I remember the night I graduated, I got a car. It wasn't an expensive car. But I passed out in the back seat of my car and burned a hole in the seat with a cigarette butt.
No. I mean,
and so, but like, just y'all stay safe and take care of one another and warn your babies.
Well, yeah, because these days there's so many different parents do talk to their kids about drinking and driving and doing those types of things. And kids do seem to be a little bit more cautious than we were. I know.
People still die every time this year. Public service announcement. Talk to your babies. And hope y'all had a great Mother's Day and all that good stuff. Moms are happy and let's get down to some true crime time for Monday.
Okie dokie. Well, we're going to go to Twickenham, southwest London.
So to go. It's time for Worldwide Crime.
And we're going to go to a Montessori school in London.
All right.
And so I actually looked at their website and looked at their Facebook page to see what this school is doing now that this arrest has happened and everything.
We don't know.
I know.
Nobody knows about that yet.
But, so in Twickenham, which is known as a very quiet suburb of southwest London, there's the Riverside Nursery, and parents waited on lists to get into this nursery, get their children into this.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah,
it's not a plant nursery like Clegg's, huh?
No, they were wanting, quality childcare, and it cost about 1,900 euros a month.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's more than college tuition. But
they adhered to the Montessori method. And of course, when there's a waiting list, people are going to wait on that list. They want that, makes it more prestigious or whatever. But it also provided or promised a nurturing environment for children aged 10 months to 2 years.
Okay.
But in the months of between January and June of 2024, some disturbing things began to happen.
Do tell.
Right. So Roxana Leka was a 22-year-old childcare worker at the nursery.
Look, if they're paying $2,000, $3,000 a month for these babies, a nursery to go to school, they better have college professors teaching.
Well, I agree, but you could be 22 and at least be a college graduate.
I wasn't talking about our age. I'm just saying that people better have doctors. If I'm paying $3,000 a month for my 6-month-old, go to school.
So, Roxana, who's 22 years old, was a worker there at the time, and she is now on trial for mistreating 23 children.
What?
Under the 6-month period.
Oh my God.
So the allegations came to light after a colleague witnessed an incident and then reported it. And then once it was reported, the Montessori looked at the footage and they saw even worse things than what the woman reported.
Pretty sure they should be looking for $3,000 a month. They should be looking at the footage every day.
Well, that was one of the things that I was looking for, is because a lot of places have like where parents can look at footage all day long. You know, they can go from room to room and have access to their child.
$3,000 a month. They can afford to have a security guard sitting there watching the cameras 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
I 150% agree. So, the Roxana was pinching children's noses. And remember, we're talking 10 months to 2 years old, grabbing a child by the neck, pulling hair, and even punching a child.
And this is 26 different kids.
Yeah, 23.
23.
So some children were left with visible injuries, including red and raised skin and pinch marks. So at trial, prosecutors presented the footage at the Kingston Crown Court, and they noted that Leka appeared to check it. Well, as she was doing the harm to the kids, she would look around to make sure there was no staff watching. Of course, they noticed it when they watched the cameras. And so that behavior suggested a level, obviously, of awareness and intent. So despite the allegations, which they're not allegations, but Leka admitted to only 2 counts of child cruelty, and she denies 21 of the additional charges. She claims that she adhered to standard child care procedures and was unaware of any injuries caused by the children. So as far as I know, wrapping your hand around someone's neck isn't child care procedures, or pinching a nose.
Right.
So initially there were no concerns raised during Leka's hiring. Her references described her as a hardworking and interactive person, like just really great with kids.
Pretty sure her best friend wrote that for her.
But then colleagues, of course, like we said at the beginning, a colleague is what reported the behavior, and other instances had been reported prior, displaying her concerning behavior. So she was actually sent home from work at least one occasion for weird behavior. So the trial began on May 8th and is expected to last approximately 5 weeks. And as the proceedings continue, the case has drawn significant attention, with parents expressing shock and concern over the abuse at the facility they trusted with their child's care.
And all their money.
Yes, but I think they paid all the money to protect their children.
Right. And they are showing concern about all their money.
They're showing concern about their kids.
I understand that. I mean, the girl needs her ass beat, but
let's pinch her nose.
Pretty sure there'll be a lawsuit in there
Wrap
somewhere.
our hands around her neck.
Well, there you have it. Interesting. Let's come back to the great state of Louisiana.
All right.
Louisiana. And we're going down to Jefferson Parish. Y'all, Jefferson Parish is probably the largest parish in totality in the state of Louisiana, because this is everything that surrounds New Orleans and goes all the way down to the coast of Grand Isle. And that's where I went to my first homicide school at. Well, I'm going to tell you, somebody else must have went to a homicide school there, because a Louisiana woman is convicted of killing her boyfriend's daughter and stuffing her body into a 13-gallon bucket for the girl's mother to find on her front lawn.
What?
Yes. That's kind of like shabusiness. Leave stuffing the stuff in the bucket. But stuffed the body in a 13-gallon bucket and left it on the lawn. So the name is Bunnock Hannah Landon, and she was sentenced on Tuesday, May the 6th, to life in prison without the possibility of parole in connection with the 2023 killing of the 6-year-old Bella Fontanelli. This according to Fox 8 and WWL TV. But a judge also gave her an extra 80 years for obstruction of justice. Right? So Landon was found guilty last week for the first-degree murder, death penalty case, y'all, in Louisiana, and 2 counts of obstruction of justice. And this is according to the Jefferson Parish DA's office. But she, naturally she pled not guilty by reason of insanity.
Oh, okay.
But Bella and her older sister spent the evening of April 25th of 2023 in the care of Landon, as the girls' fathers worked late in Kenner, Louisiana, which is it's in, technically in Jefferson Parish, right outside of Orleans. And the children's paternal grandmother picked the girls up from school and spent the afternoon with them before dropping them off at the Harahan, Louisiana home. And that's right next door to Kenner, y'all. The grandmother left around 7:30 p.m. and prosecutors said Landon killed Bella soon after that. Now, unfortunately for Landon, prosecutors have video footage, and it shows at around 9:30 p.m. Landon pulling a wagon carrying a bucket in which she forced Bella's 48-pound body. Landon pulled the wagon to Bella's mother's home, one street over, with a dead baby in a bucket in a wagon, like your little red flower wagon. I'm just going to pull you through the neighborhood and pull it to the mom's home one street over before returning home with an empty wagon. Right? I mean, that's just stupid. Minutes later, Bella's father returned, but Landon had already left the scene. The father reported Bella and Landon missing the next morning when he noticed they were gone. Now, the missing persons report, they put out an Amber Alert, and the police began searching everywhere. And amid the search, Bella's maternal grandmother was the first to find the bucket on the lawn at the foot of the driveway. And of course, the girl's mother and father arrived moments later with the police. Now, one of JPSO's police sergeants removed the bucket's lid and found Bella's body clad in pink pajamas with polka dots.
Yes. I remember that story because one of our friends' mothers lives on that same street.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Landon turned herself into the cops later that night, but she was uncooperative, and she was then taken to hospital for a mental evaluation and was later arrested. And prosecutors said they discovered a video on Landon's cell phone, which she had buried, showing Bella before the murder. The footage shows the girl crying in the bedroom, repeatedly saying through tears, "I want my grandma." In turn, Landon placed a bath towel at the bottom of Bella's bedroom door to muffle her cries. Oh, yeah, you remember all this because this is just now coming out. Prosecutors further said that Landon searched for a criminal defense attorney's trial preparation services on her phone and sent cryptic messages to those close to her after she killed Bella. But that pretty much proves you're not fucking crazy, Landon. And authorities also tested the blood found on the outside of the bucket, which was linked to Landon, the killer. So the Jefferson Parish Coroner's Office determined that Bella died from asphyxia due to strangulation and blunt force trauma. They said the pathologist found numerous bruises on Bella's head and abrasions on her neck, indicative of the child's fingernails scratching against Landon's hands while she was being strangled. Can you imagine that? Now, according to the DA's office, the autopsy also revealed that Bella still may have been alive, although unconscious, when Landon folded her body and stuffed it in the bucket head first.
Disgusting.
This bitch is getting a death penalty. During the 4-day trial, Landon's defense argued that because of a mental illness, Landon did not know right from wrong when she killed Bella. And a forensic psychiatrist who evaluated Landon 13 times and testified at trial concluded that Landon suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder rooted in her childhood, which was supposedly at a death camp in Cambodia. However, prosecutors shot down the insanity plea with a forensic psychologist of their own who testified, "It's my opinion that she understood the consequences of her actions at the time. This isn't a woman who's outside her faculties," ADA Rachel Afric said during the closing arguments on May 1st. "This is a woman who is pissed off and evil." And I concur. And I bet you there's going to be a death penalty phase coming up for the trial.
Yeah.
I mean, the family may not want it or whatever. I don't know. Holy fuck.
That's disgusting.
Come on, man. And you research criminal defense attorneys and all that, and you're going to say, "Oh, but I was crazy."
Yeah, and she's also has a video that she buried that shows her muffling the noise.
Yeah.
So that's not crazy.
And baby
behavior.
crying asking for grandma. That bitch be dead as fuck. I don't know a grandmother or father or a parent out there who wouldn't get their hands on that. Get them. Get her.
I know.
Hey, lifers. Woody Overton here, and I want to talk to y'all about something that's come up around our house more than once lately. Hormones. Now, I can't speak from personal experience on this one, but I've seen it firsthand with Cyndi. There were days she'd be feeling drained, overwhelmed, even a little off. We couldn't figure out why. She was eating right, taking care of herself, getting things done like always, but something just wasn't clicking. Turns out it wasn't just stress. It wasn't just being tired. She took this free 2-minute quiz from a company called Happy Mammoth, and it gave her some serious insight into what might be going on with her hormone levels. After answering just a few simple questions, she got personalized breakdown, and one of the main things it pointed out was that her body may be overloaded with estrogen. That's when we found Hormone Harmony, Happy Mammoth's plant-based herbal formula designed to support your hormone levels, stress response, and overall well-being. Since Cyndi started taking Hormone Harmony, she said it's made a noticeable difference. Things like occasional bloating, low energy, and those mild mood dips, all less frequent. And it didn't take a huge lifestyle overhaul to see those changes. Just a small daily habit that fit right into her routine. Now listen, this isn't some one-size-fits-all deal. This quiz gives you personalized recommendations so you can understand what's going on in your body and what might help you feel better. Whether it's Hormone Harmony or one of their other hormone support products, you'll know exactly where to start. And here's the thing. Happy Mammoth has helped thousands of women. They have over 40,000 5-star reviews, and a bottle of Hormone Harmony sells every 24 seconds. That many folks can't be wrong. Ready to start feeling like yourself again? Head over to happymammoth.com and take their free 2-minute hormone quiz today to find the ultimate answer to your stubborn hormonal issues. And for a limited time, you can also get 15% off your entire first order with my code RLRC at checkout. That's HAPPYMAMMOTH.com and use the code RLRC for 15% off today.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains May 2nd through the 12th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
I guess we have a theme of the day.
Lay it out.
So we're now going to go to Vero Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever been there. Have we ever been there?
I've been there.
Okay. So this incident occurred on April 29th of this year, and we're going to a daycare center called Kid City, USA.
He's down with the kids today, huh?
That's what I said. We have our theme. And so there was a 4-year-old boy with autism.
Oh, Lord.
At Kid City, USA Daycare.
I'm pretty sure I was on the site. I'm pretty sure I'm probably
You
still
are
on the spectrum.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a label for it. I was just a
bad boy.
Bad boy. I was a bad boy.
You still are a bad boy.
This is true. 55 years later.
And you always will be. But this poor boy, like I said, had autism, and he was under the supervision of what they are referring to as a behavior technician.
All right.
And so,
I wonder if it costs $3,000 a month, like the Montessori in England.
So the behavior technician momentarily stepped out of the classroom. And when she returned, she noticed the 4-year-old boy lying on the ground, very distressed. And she was concerned, so she reviewed, thank goodness they had it, again, the video.
Yeah.
And what she saw on the video just really disgusted her. So the footage revealed Alice Wood, who's a 48-year-old preschool teacher who was approaching the boy, grabbing him by his arms, both of his arms, and forcefully pulling his hands towards his body as he attempted to resist. She then yanked his arms with such force that his head snapped backwards.
Damn.
Dragged him approximately 3 feet across the floor and pushed him down by his head when he tried to stand up. Well, wait, it gets better.
All right. She got him pinned to the floor.
She kept him pinned to the floor until the technician walked back in. And the child sustained a large inflamed area in his right arm near the shoulder, which was obviously consistent with forcefully handling him that was depicted in the video. But when questioned by authorities, Wood claimed that the boy had been hitting her and throwing crayons, which was not in the video. And she asserted that he had tripped during the incident. However, upon further interrogation, she admitted that her actions were excessive and expressed regret, but she stated that she was hit with one too many crayons.
I didn't know they still made crayons.
I
used to like the color.
I loved to color.
It's not taking away from this baby's pain.
So many people do color as grown women or men color for therapy, like to relax.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just drink a beer.
Yeah. Maybe we should start coloring instead of drinking a beer.
A lot of things are going to happen, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to be one of them.
Well, Wood was terminated from her position at Kid City USA, and the owner...
Kid City USA. It sounds like a party store.
The owner emphasized their commitment to providing the best care for their students.
I'm sure the owner does have the best intentions. Better hire some better fucking help.
And Alice Wood was arrested and charged with 1 count of child abuse, and she's since posted bond and scheduled to appear at court in July.
Well, I don't understand, but Vero Beach dropped a hammer on these mofos, right?
Yes, please.
Well, you're the one that said it's going to be a theme today, so I'm going to do another one that brings along the theme. This is really horrible. I mean, they're all horrible, right? Absolutely horrible, tragic. And I'm going to double keep it in the theme because we're coming back to the great state of Louisiana.
Oh, gosh.
That's right. And this story, holy smokes, y'all. So a little girl named Adeline Mae Sadler, who was 2 years old, her father, James, and her grandparents, Leroy and Judy, were killed in a murder-suicide early Monday morning. Look at that sweet baby.
Aww.
2 years old. And then we're going down to Caddo Parish, all right, which is over by Lake Charles, far west, southwest Louisiana. The 4 people are dead following the murder-suicide that occurred early Monday morning in Louisiana, and now a woman will spend Mother's Day burying her toddler daughter. Now, Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office said that deputies responded to a residence in Keithville just before 7 a.m. on May the 6th in response to a welfare call. And they showed up and got on the scene, and they tried to talk to the person inside the house, and no joy, right? So while they're outside the house, they hear bam.
No.
Yeah, gunshot, a single gunshot from inside the residence. At which point a drone was deployed to search the residence, right? Cops got all kinds of fancy shit now we didn't have. But I'm pretty sure whoever was operating that drone needed to go get a drink when this day got done. Because when they sent the drone in, they were able to see there were 4 dead people inside the residence, and they were identified. They said by the county's coroner. Well, we don't have counties, we have parishes, so they're identified by the parish coroner's office as Leroy Sadler, who was 60, Judy Sadler, who was 64, James Sadler, who's 29, and 2-year-old Adeline Mae Sadler. Look at this one, her holding American flag.
Oh,
right.
Goodness.
So authorities haven't released the name of the shooter, but the Caddo Parish coroner's office, they got it right that time, classified the deaths of Judy, James, and Adeline as murder. So public records show that this occurred at the home of Leroy and Judy, and that the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office said that neighbors of the suspect told investigators that the suspect was possibly a doomsday prepper. And Kara's cousin, who created a GoFundMe to help raise money for the family, wrote that Adeline Mae was beautiful, so intelligent, and always full of joy, and the brightest light in Kara's life, and truly the sweetest little girl you could ever meet. And then the post then said how Kara would now be forced to live every mother's worst nightmare on the worst possible day, which is exactly, every parent that's lost, every mom that's lost a child, right? And but this one, geez Louise. They said instead of spending this Mother's Day weekend with her baby, she would be laying her to rest, and no mother should ever have to feel that kind of pain.
No, they shouldn't.
Totally get it. Hearts and prayers go out to all of them. Man, don't do suicide, y'all. There's a lot of other options, and we're fighting on #Justice for Haley. We're doing the update this week on the call with the DA. I think everything is very positive. So we're going to swap our intentions of what we're going to do to a different light, but we'll tell you all about it on the #Justice for Haley this Friday.
Yes.
All right. You got something to line it up?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So now we're going to Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yep. I'm at the Indy 500.
We're going to go all the way down to Oklahoma, and then we're going to go back up, and then we're going to go all over the place in this story.
All over the Midwest?
Well, pretty much. So on February 9th of 2023, a mother named Madison Marshall and her boyfriend, Roan Waters, drove down to Cromwell, Oklahoma to take Madison's 2 children from their daddy.
Okay.
One of the children was Oakley, who was 1 year old, probably a little bit older, because her little brother was 7 months old. And I don't think you can technically have kids that close together if they're
maybe they weren't obeying the 45-day rule of no sex after birth or whatever. Right.
So they then went back to Indianapolis, where they resided in a house associated with drug activity.
Imagine that.
So on February 9th, Marshall claimed that she was in the kitchen when she heard Waters yelling at Oakley, the 1-year-old, to bounce on her bouncy ball. So he was yelling at her to bounce on the bouncy ball, which doesn't, anyway, I'm going to stop making my interjections. Shortly after, Marshall found Oakley limp in Waters' arms. In a panic, she attempted to revive her daughter by splashing cold water on her face in the bathtub. But When she tried to call 911, Waters slapped the phone from her hand. And so instead of seeking medical assistance for her child, the couple wrapped Oakley's lifeless body up in a blanket, placed it in their car, and drove to an abandoned house in Morgan County, Indiana. There they concealed the body in a dresser drawer.
What?
Meanwhile, Oakley's brother, Colton, was left on the couch in the house of the known drug people, and a resident discovered the infant and contacted authorities. So that led to Colton's safe return to his father, but the search for Oakley intensified over the following weeks, and Marshall fled.
Imagine knowing your kid is stuffed in a dresser drawer in some abandoned building for weeks while everybody's looking.
Right. And so Marshall fled and was eventually located and arrested in North Carolina, while Waters was apprehended in Colorado on unrelated charges. And under interrogation, Marshall confessed to her role in the events leading to Oakley's death and guided investigators to the abandoned house where her daughter's body was found. So in May of 2025, Madison Marshall pleaded guilty to 2 counts: neglect of a dependent resulting in death and neglect of a dependent. And as part of her plea agreement, she agreed to testify against Roan Waters in his upcoming trial. But she faces a 25-year sentence for the first charge and concurrent 2-year sentence for the second.
And it occurred in Indiana?
Mm-hmm.
Does Indiana have the death penalty?
Okay, I found this on the web for Does Indiana have the death penalty? Check it out.
Death penalty has been present in Indiana for much of the state's history, blah, 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 hangings, blah, 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 mobs, 1860, 1960, 70, 85. Oh, in 85, a dude named William Vandiver's electrocution execution was botched. And after the first administration of 2,300 volts, he is still breathing, and they observed smoke and the smell of burning upon him. Well, good for him. Hell of a deal. All right. Anyway, let me fast forward. Sorry. I always can't find those botched cases interesting. So in 2024, after a 15-year hiatus, Indiana announced plans to resume executions on December 18th. And that's good because those motherfuckers deserve it.
Right.
Right. So there you have it. I haven't done that one in a moment. But let's see. Do I want to keep just sharing the misery? So we can go to Wichita. You know, a lot of people have drug problems and gambling problems and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they have to pay off their debts. You know, especially get involved with bookies and shit like that. Well, let me tell you what this guy did. I mean, he's just unbelievable that we are going to Wichita and look at this hero. I'll show you this picture before we get started. Yeah. So 37-year-old Gordon Pierce III, he admitted to a crime. You know what it was?
Murder?
Nope.
Stealing pizza.
He stole something, but it weighed a hell of a lot more than a pizza. He's arrested for stealing a cannon from a local park on April the 2nd. Right?
Thank you for making me laugh.
This fucking cannon weighed 800 pounds.
It's like the people that stole that statue. Remember when? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know why he stole it? Pay off his drug debt.
What?
That's exactly right. So the cannon, which is described as a priceless fixture to the community, was reported missing on April 3rd. Can you imagine that? You're walking by in your park every day, your famous cannon is there, and the bitch just ain't there. And that day, a suspect was identified and arrested, and that's according to the Wichita Police Department's Facebook. Now, The cannon was eventually recovered, but it had been significantly damaged. And according to the arrest affidavit, the man was identified as, I told you, Gordon Pierce III. And the news outlets reported that he admitted to stealing the cannon from the local park. Now, police reported that the cannon was gifted to the town in 1990, and it dates back to the Spanish-American War. Old as fuck, right? You know, I love my history. So Pierce claimed that he stole the cannon out of fear that his life was in danger. He said that he was worried he would be killed by his drug dealer if he didn't pay off a $20,000 debt that he accrued after a 1 pound bag of meth was stolen from him.
Poor baby.
I'm pretty sure you stole it right up your fucking nose or shot it in your veins.
Yeah.
But according to the news, Pierce admitted to using meth for 20 years and said that his dealer didn't believe his story and threatened that he would shoot him and his family. So what did he do? He turned to theft to pay the debt, and initially he wanted to steal all the shit, copper statues, right? Because copper's worth so much money. But then he just happened to be going by the park and he saw that big ass cannon. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming it's made out of brass, but he saw the big ass cannon in Central Riverside Park. It's like, fuck it, I'm gonna take that.
That looks good.
So, but you 800 pounds. How do you move that?
With lots of people, I would think.
Exactly. And herein lies where you always get fucked.
Yeah.
So he got a homeless dude off the street around 4 a.m. on April 2nd. And together they removed the cannon from its base. But after getting it down, he had to go to another friend's house to borrow some chains to tie to the cannon to pull it.
Oh my God.
All right. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to fucking tell on your ass. So the friend was freaking out about this, believing he was going to get into trouble.
Yeah. That's
what Pierce told the police. And well, guess what, motherfucker? Yeah, you pretty much are going to get in trouble. Mm-hmm. Now, Pierce says he proceeded to cut the cannon into 4 or 5 pieces, and he brought several pieces to his dealer as evidence that he's trying to repay his debt. Now, police say Pierce told them that the dealer was unimpressed. Right?
I guess so.
You got 150-pound sections of cannon, right? Unimpressed, and he's worried that the cannon would bring heat to his house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. So the local news outlet KNSW said his friend reportedly directed the police to Pierce, and they arrested him. Now, Cake News reported that Pierce had a clear baggie of white crystal-like substance on him at the time of his arrest. And he told officers it was meth. And he got a higher bond than a lot of murderers get. He got a $200,000 bond at Sedgwick County Jail, theft of property, aggravated criminal damage to property, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Whatever, fuck him. But the cannon was a part of Wichita's Spanish-American War Memorial, and it was worth more than $100,000. And Pierce cost $10,000 just in the damage to its base. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure you're not going to weld a cannon back together. But they said the rest of the individual who committed this crime is a testament to the quick response of our patrol officers, the Property Crime Reduction Task Force officers and investigators. And whatever, I don't know, the stealing a cannon, I mean, he stole it for scrap value, obviously. What is the value of scrap metal? Let me ask this girl. What is the value of scrap metal today?
Here's what I found.
All right, so what if this is, and get your calculator ready. Scrap metal prices, let's select country, would be United States. Select the state, Kansas. Select the city, Wichita. Yeah, I can't believe they do this. Material, we're going to go out on a limb and say it was bronze. Most cannons were made from bronze back then. And let's see what we get here. All right. Well, if they don't, they have AC compressor scrap, AC reefer scrap, this kind of scrap, aluminum auto wheels. I'm pretty sure not going to have a fucking bronze cannon from the Spanish American War. But let's just see if we can get the bronze. Chrome wheels, aluminum motor scraps, truck wheels, come on, I'm still in the fucking A's. Let's go. I know they don't have bronze, but let's just see. Yellow brass radiators, brass, copper, which is not going to be, insulated copper, brass shell scrap. So you get 2.1 cents per pound. All right. 800 pounds of cannon at 2.1, just say 2. Let's go out on a limb and give the motherfucker some credit for stealing and giving 3 cents a pound. Was that $450?
Tell me the numbers again.
3 cents.
Okay.
0.03 times 800. $240? Yeah. If I was your drug dealer, I wouldn't be impressed either.
No, it's $24.
For 3 cents times 800?
Yeah, 3 cents. Move your zeros over twice. Move 2 points over.
Yeah, I wasn't ever very good at math. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even worth the fucking chain weight you can get, probably.
No.
The world are full of idiots.
Well, I think you've meth.
Yeah, for 20 years. Yeah.
Do the
Elvis,
public service, please.
Oh, yeah. Did I ever tell the story about the dude said his wife was fucking Elvis? I haven't told it on the podcast yet.
No.
Yeah, it was a polygraph story. Oh my God. And I went in and I drove. We didn't have a lot of money at the time. So I drove all over the state for $400 polygraphs. I charge $2,000 for them now if I do them. And drove kids were babies. I drove up there. Walk in, think I'm doing a relationship polygraph, and sit down. I said, okay, I'm sitting with the husband and wife, and this dude is fucking tweaked out of his mind, right? And in sores and everything else. I'm like, I already fucking know what this, I didn't know what it was about, but I knew this guy's high as fuck. And I said, okay, what are we here for? And he said, you tell him. And she said, no, you tell him. And he said, well, my wife's been fucking Elvis. I said, Elvis who? He said, Elvis Presley. I'm like, dude, Elvis died when I was 7. He said, no, she's been fucking the ghost of Elvis. And I said, okay. Now at this point, I already had the money because I always took the money before I even took my instrument out of the bag. You know, reasons for that. That's more stories I could tell about it getting robbed and shit like that. Yep. But anyway, so I'm like, you know, this dumb motherfucker called me. And I drove like 3.5 hours to do this test. This dumb motherfucker called me high as fuck. And I said, so you want me to test your wife as to her fidelity if she fucked the ghost of Elvis or not? He said, been fucking him. I said, okay. So I made it, sat down, went through the whole test procedures, made up the relevant questions. Have you ever had sexual intercourse with Elvis Presley? No. Has Elvis Presley ever inserted his penis inside your vagina? No. Has Elvis Presley ever inserted his penis inside your mouth? No. And guess what? Whatever else I might have thrown in relevant. And guess what? She passed.
I'm sure she did.
Then I had to tell this tweaker who's sniffing the whole time and just, kidding still. I made him leave the room and I did the test, but I called back and say, man, your wife has not been fucking the ghost of Elvis. And he just kind of looked at me. He said, but I see it. And I said, well, how long have you been using meth for? He was like, I don't use meth. I said, motherfucker, you definitely use meth. I said, how long, let me rephrase the question. How long have you been awake for? He said, 2 weeks. I said, when's the last time you did some meth? He said, right before you walked through the door. I said, thank you very much. Drive through. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we'll end it with that.
Didn't he try to call back with another question?
No. Oh, they always did that.
Oh, I know,
but
that's what made you set the...
I used to say, I set a rule. And we're going back to, believe it or not, we're going back to original real life, real crime stories. We're on the next to the last episode on Scorch on the state versus Scott Peterson, and the prosecution has closed, and now one of the defense attorneys has closed their final arguments in the death penalty case, and only Mark Geragos has to go left, and we're done. But because I learned as over the years, licensed now for 25 years, I've learned, or over 20 years, I've learned, you get one fucking call back. The relationship tests were the worst.
Oh, yes.
And because it was a no-win situation. Either they were going to have the honeymoon period. Oh, I knew you wouldn't cheat on me, honey, if they were innocent, right? And then inevitably they would be calling back a day or two later. Oh, you cheated, or you're fucking my wife, or she paid you, or da-da-da-da-da, or the wife be doing the same thing. You fucking my husband, or he paid you off. I'm like, okay. So I would tell him, you get one phone call back, and that'd be exactly where I say, I stand by my results. You ever heard that sound before? What sound? Click. That's it for today. And love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you for liking and listening and sharing and all that stuff. And the numbers are there. And that's why we keep doing the show, because y'all love it. Right? Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our Patreon and convicts. And thank you to everyone. Hey, Catholic Church got a new pope. If you're a Catholic, I'm sure that makes you happy.
He plays Words with Friends. I used to play
He's
that.
from America.
I know.
He's
Grew
from
up in Chicago, and he's got roots here. Well, not here, but
in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right where we were last week.
Yep. People were so excited about this.
Yeah. So anyway, that's something. Meanwhile, India and Pakistan, whoever the fuck it is, they've been growing. They're both nuclear powers, and so I've been noticed they were firing missiles at each other and shit like that. It's kind of been downplayed in the news. The other day, they had the largest dogfight since World War II. Dogfight being an aerial combat. Over 125 fighter jets.
What?
No shit. I'm like, how in the fuck is this not a war? Then, just this morning, I'm reading that the other side that didn't fire the missiles the first time fired a shit ton of missiles into them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're about to pave that motherfucker over into a parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not political. I don't care. I may have the countries wrong, but it's two of them that got nuclear bombs, and they're fucking tearing the shit out of each other.
That's scary.
Yeah. So, but if they do that, I guess they'll take that part of the desert and pave it over and put a McDonald's up or Starbucks or something. I don't know. Anyway, we're out of here. Holler at you next time. I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
See you later. Peace, especially in the Middle East.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains May 2nd through the 12th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Plan on flying? It's time to upgrade to a Real ID. Because in order to board domestic flights, your driver's license or state-issued ID must be a Real ID, or you'll need another acceptable form of identification. So don't wait. Find out how to get your Real ID at tsa.gov/RealID. That's tsa.gov/RealID, or visit your local DMV. And then you'll be cleared for takeoff.